Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is the Black Manga Critic. You already know what it is. Um, it is 10:08. This is not going to be a long stream or anything like that. Yeah, y'all see the title. Y'all see the title. Okay. Eh. I mean, look. I genuinely have just like I just don't have any desire to like react to One Piece. I mean, look, like you can kind of put on some stuff. You can be like, oh well, the the Kasugi clan. I'm like, I, I don't care. I don't care. And this is not to say like, oh, One Piece as a whole is like garbage, or like if anybody reads One Piece, they trash. Like nothing like that, obviously. Because I read all the way up to like 914 chapters. I haven't read 915 yet, but from what I've heard, it's like whatever chapter. All right, so for me, it's just like it doesn't make any sense for me to read One Piece right now. While I'm just kind of like bored with it, I'm just genuinely like bored with One Piece right now. Like I have no desire to like read the next chapter when I'm done reading the last chapter. Like the chapter that was supposed to be hype with Basil Hawkins, I guess, or Basil Hawkins, whatever you want to pronounce that. Just boring. You know what I mean? I'm just all right. So I'm not saying y'all can't think this is interesting or you can't read. Like, why would I do that? Like, I'm just talking about me. All right, y'all want to read the chapters, you want to get hyped the chapters, you want to do all that stuff. Yo, have fun. You know what I mean? Have fun with those chapters. Do all that. Do all that. Have fun with those chapters. Do all that work. If that's what you want to do, all right. If that's what you want to do, go for it. Go for it. All right. I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you to have a good time with that One Piece. I'm rooting for you to have fun with that One Piece. Please do. Please do. I think what I'm gonna do, for now, is I'm probably gonna let about. I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna see. Maybe I'll let like 20 chapters like build up. I'll let like 20 chapters build up, and I might do this for like most of the time. Like what I might do for starters, I might say, all right, I'll let 20 chapters build up, then I'll read them all in like a stream, check it out. You know what I mean? Be very careful about what's going on, and like look through the chapters, right? Try not to miss anything or anything like that. Because I think like there could be bits of information that are important. Like that's fine. That's fine. If there's like bits of information in these chapters and you're like, yo, this is like vital. This is like some vital stuff. And you want to analyze the chapters. I think that's cool. If that's what you're doing, be my guest, yo. That's dope. The more like analysis for manga, like the better. Although I do think sometimes like people will like go like on these like really kind of ridiculous limbs and be like, yo, well, this one word was missing, but the actual word was there, so that means that Oda's saying that da 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 is gonna happen in the future. I'm like, nah, you doing too much. You actually doing too much. Like there's like foreshadowing, and foreshadowing to me is like very like basic. It's like foreshadowing is very basic. All right, it's not particular. Like one foreshadowing should be at some level, like you should be able to like be like, oh, okay, I kind of see what's happening there. There's like sort of like really obvious foreshadowing. And then there's the one that's like there's a bit that's like a little more subtle. All right, it's a little more subtle, I think. But still, like if you've seen foreshadowing before, if you've read things before, like it's not gonna be something that's like, whoa, that was stunning. You know what I mean? Like you'll be able to like check it out and see it, and you'll know what's going on. You'll be able to say, oh, like that's gonna happen in the future, right? You know what I mean? I teach this to like kids all the time. So we want to do that stuff, and then that all the analysis, blah 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 blah. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it. But when it comes to just like for me personally, my enjoyment of the chat, like I want to react to things that I know I'm gonna enjoy, right? So like, but I also want to make space for manga that I currently enjoy. Like One Piece is taking up space, it's taking up my time. You know. So like I want to react to Oku. I want to react to some of these other manga that I'm reading, at some point, I'll make a video for like certain manga because like I haven't read like volume 2 of Tokyo Tadareba Girls. Like I want to react to that. Like I want to react to that volume. I want to make a video about like how I felt about volume 1, eventually, so that people know that like, hey, I'm not only not reading like reacting to these manga, but like I wanted you to know how I feel about the first volume of a manga if I've already read it, before I like start reacting to the manga. Just like a quick video or something like that. But I want to make more room for the manga that like I genuinely like care about at a particular time. I'm not gonna waste my time like reacting to One Piece if I just do not care about One Piece. All right, at the moment, like that's not to say I will never care about One Piece. I'm not saying that. I know at some point One Piece is gonna be hype, right? So I'll probably be there when that happens. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll wait till like the end of the arc, and when people are like, oh, this is the end of the arc. Then I'll then I'll check it out. It'll be cool, and then all right, and then that'll be what it is. But I mean, right now I don't really care. That One Piece boring, okay? For me, not saying it should be boring for everyone else. But I saw like Dustin was just like, yeah, I'm not really doing like a reaction like video or a conversation, discussion video or anything like that. I'm just like, yo, like. Okay, like and for me personally, I just don't want to react to it at all. I just have to it's not to say that I won't read it. I think for now, what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna stop commenting on it because I think what's happened for me is like sometimes you can like read something and you're just not enjoying it, and then you constantly comment on it and you're like, this isn't good. Like for me, it's like. I have no like desire to like get into conversations about like, oh, I enjoyed this. I don't know why you didn't enjoy this. I thought this was okay. I don't care about that. I think I want to read the stuff that I enjoy. And that doesn't mean that I'm not critical of the stuff that I read or that I'm saying like, oh, like, I'm not saying every My Hero chapter is like fire, because that's not true. All right, I'm not saying every Promised Neverland chapter is fire, because that's not true. People like recently gave like the Promised Neverland chapter like, oh, this is a 10 out of 10, and I was like, nah, to me it was like an 8.5. Like I'm saving like 10 out of 10 things for like, 10 out of 10 like chapters. That's what I'm saving my 10s for. I'm saving my 9s too, because 9 and 10 they ain't that far off. Okay, 8.5 is like when I think a chapter's pretty good, but it didn't do too much for me. In terms of certain things. So, I'm trying to be like a bit more like frugal about like how, giving out 9s and 10s for chapters. And this is with anything that I read. If I'm ranking chapters. But I think particularly I do that with like Weekly Shonen Jump. If I'm like reacting to Weekly Shonen Jump chapters, because that's like serialized, comes out weekly, I can do that. I can kind of do that. I'm keeping up with it enough to where I can say, okay, like I have a good idea of like what I generally give certain chapters. And yeah, like I gave like My Hero chapters a lot of 7s, some 6s, when it came to certain like arcs and things of that nature. So it is what it is. But I don't want this thing to become like a, let me talk about how like Oda's slipping or blah blah blah. Because like I've done that before. You know what I mean? Like I've done that before. I've had streams like that. To me, for me, that's like it's a waste of my time. It's a waste of my energy. I'm not gonna do that. Even though like just for like the record, I believe that like Oda has like not his art. His art is still pretty dope, right? The art is always pretty fire. That hasn't slipped. The writing slipped a bit. Like the writing has definitely slipped a bit, and people are sort of like, oh, he's focused on these other characters, not the Straw Hats. I'm like, dude, this story like is. It really is about the Straw Hats. I'm sorry. Like if you are a reader of One Piece and you're like, nah, the story's about all these people. I'm like, yeah, but it's really like at the core of it are the Straw Hats. Like rarely do we have like a bunch of things going on where we're not following the Straw Hats at all. Like at all. Like rarely does that happen. You know what I mean? Where it's like never about any of the Straw Hats. Like maybe the Reverie, but even that was extremely short. And it shouldn't have been that short, but it was short. Why? Because people love the Straw Hats, so they want to follow the Straw Hats, right? So they're not going to make the Reverie as long as it should be, where we should be able to see certain conversations take place and things of that nature, before we cut off from it. before we cut off from it. So, you know, for me, like Oda slipped. He slipped. You know, there's some things that I think, like, you know, it's not that don't enjoy it at all. No, it's not even that. I don't think he's focused on the Straw Hats, but he's not really like doing much for them. Outside of like, you know, typical stuff that I already expect. I expect certain things. I'm not particularly surprised by certain things that have happened. You know, so I think, you know, so it is what it is. But with that being said, I don't care. I'm not really interested in One Piece at the moment. It doesn't really do much for me. You know, it's cool like to see people sort of have certain conversations, but even those, like, look, I'm gonna be honest, like even those conversations to me are kind of boring. You know, they always kind of come back to the same place. And I'm just not there. Like I'm just like I just don't care about like, oh, you know, what does this chapter say about Zoro's power level? I don't care. You know, what does this chapter say about you know, what does this like Whole Cake Island chapter say about Sanji's blah blah blah? I don't care. You know, what is you know, Luffy like using Gear Second on this opponent say about the strength of the opponent? I don't care. You know what I mean? It's just like meh. You know, those are just conversations like they, to me, like they don't really go anywhere like that's interesting to me. If you want to have those conversations, who am I? I can't tell you to stop having conversations. Who am I? I ain't your mama. I ain't your dad. I ain't your parent. I ain't your guardian. I'm not like your mentor. I'm not none of those things. Do your thing. All right. But for me, it's boring. You know, like I have other manga that I really want to react to, that I want to start, that I want to sort of add to this channel. There are other things that I want to do in terms of like having certain conversations and discussions that I just cannot have in this like distinct sort of community, right? Like there are just manga that like I simply cannot talk about. I can't get people to read for the most part. And I'm like, all right, if y'all don't want to read these things, if y'all not interested in those things, then like, you know, I'm gonna go over here and do that stuff. And I'm gonna have a good time doing that. I'm not gonna sit around, you know, thinking about One Piece, thinking about, you know, conversations about which straw hat is stronger than which straw hat. I'm like, I'm not trying to rank those straw hats. I'm not trying to do that. Like that's for me. I don't care. But if you have fun, again, if you have fun doing those particular things, if you have fun like ranking the like straw hats, if you have fun thinking about those things and like being interested in those things and yo, have fun. Have fun doing those things. Right? Not gonna tell you to stop doing that stuff because like that doesn't make any sense. I have no authority in that way. So why would I do that? But for me, it's boring. It just doesn't interest me. You know what I mean? And even for like, and just for series in general, I just don't care about like, you know, can this character beat this character? I don't care. I'm not interested. And I think I could tell that about myself that I'm not interested because like I'm just gravitating towards different types of manga. Like I'm looking for manga that aren't shonen. You know what I mean? Like I'm actively looking for manga that aren't like typical like shonen like battle shonen, adventure shonen, like, you know, adventure battle shonen, whatever mixture you want to talk about, right? Adventure about seinen, whatever you want to call it. Like I'm specifically looking for manga that aren't like that because like right now those manga like yeah, you know, like there are only so many shonen manga that I like at the moment, right? There are only so many that I like that I'm like, yo, I'm reading every week and I'm like trying to follow. Like Promise Neverland, I'm always on that. My Hero, generally I'm always on that. You know what I mean? Haikyuu, I would be on if it was caught up. Like if it was like an official release, I'd be on Haikyuu all the time, right? Because like I think those three are just particularly good and they're engaging and they do things that like I really, really like and that I think are important. And you know, it's just really, really fun in like a dope sort of way. But those are just the three. Like I would say those three. And then there are others where I'm just like, I don't know. Like Soma is in a weird place. I think Soma is in like a weird sort of right at the moment. It's just I don't know what's going on with Food Wars, but it needs to pick it up because this current arc that we're kind of in, it ain't hitting for me. It ain't hitting for me. It's doing some not weird, but like just like some stuff that like, you know, I wouldn't mind, but because of how like kind of corny it is, I'm like, nah. And I think I think there's other manga that like I'm like. There's a reason. Like if I stop reading a manga, if I'm just not trying to like be on it, sometimes it'll be just time. I just might not have the time. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. But when it comes to like shonen manga, I'm like slowly but surely being like, I don't want to read. I don't want to read this other this other shonen manga that like this battle shonen manga. I want to read another one, another one, and another one. I'm not interested. You know, at the moment, I'm not interested at all. They're doing similar things. They were trying to do something that's a little bit different, you know, sometimes, but like most of the time, it's like generally the same. The Promised Neverland is probably like the one. Haikyuu, Promised Neverland, and My Hero. You know what I mean? Even My Hero, I think if I needed to, I could just be like, oh, I'm gonna keep My Hero. I'm gonna let My Hero collect a few chapters. I really could. Like I really like My Hero, but at the same time, I'm just kind of like, you know, I could let My Hero even like just collect chapters. I could just let it collect chapters, and I'd be good. I'd be chilling. I'd be living my life. I'd be, you know, doing whatever, reading the comics, manga, whatever. You know what I mean? But Haikyuu and The Promised Neverland, I think those two in particular are like really, really dope. Right? I'm not saying that like I would never read My Hero or never read Dr. Stone or never read Black Clover or never read like One Piece or something like that. It's just like those manga, like I feel like there's a way in which I can just kind of like chill and I'll like let them collect chapters and it's not a big deal for me. You know what I mean? The Promised Neverland, I want to see week to week. I'm really invested week to week in what's going on because every chapter does something. I think that's like particularly good and shows something that's different. You know what I mean? I really like that. And the pacing is just phenomenal. Promised Neverland. Haikyuu is another one that's just, oof, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. You know, it's always engaged. There's always a character that's being like developed. I've never seen a Haikyuu chapter where a character wasn't developed. I haven't seen it. You know what I mean? Like in quality. You know what I mean? I haven't seen it. So those two, I think in particular, I'm just like huge fan of. One Piece, I'm like whatever. One Piece is boring me. One Piece is actually boring me to tears. Like I remember reading it for 10. I was like, yeah, little, you know, the Batman thing is a little corny. You know, it was funny. But I mean, I don't know. Something about it's just like it is funny, but at the same time, I'm just like this chapter as a whole is just like it ain't hitting. You know, and I'll try to be nice about a chapter and give it like a certain rating. But I think like, you know, the latest chapters have been like average chapters. They've been like 5 out of 10s. You know what I mean? For me, again, I put it straight down the middle. All right. 5 is an average thing for me. I think Slam Dunk is I've only read like a bit of it. I've only read like a very tiny bit of it, but from what I've read, it's pretty good. But I don't remember too much, but what I do remember, I was like, yo, the art was really dope because I believe the mangaka is the same mangaka that writes and draws Vagabond. So you already know there's gonna be some quality stuff in there. And everyone that I've sort of talked to like really, really loves Slam Dunk as a manga. People adore that manga. So I think, it's definitely worth getting into if you want to check it out. But I'm not the guy to sort of come to and say like, oh, this arc's gonna be incredible, blah, blah, blah. I ain't that person. But from what I've heard from everyone, Slam Dunk is very, very, very good. So check it out. But again, One Piece, meh. I want to read other manga. I want to replace it with something else. I'm not sure what I'm going to replace it with necessarily, but there are other manga, other readathons that I've sort of like put in the back burner that I want to get back to. I want to get back to, Good Night Poon Poon I read on my own, and I liked it. It was cool. But like I don't know, I might like delete the Good Night Poon Poon like videos that I made because like those readathons aren't gonna like finish. But like Yona of the Dawn, A Bride Story, things like that. Like I want to get back to definitely want to get back to those two because I loved what I was reading when I read them, and then they just kind of like went to the back burner because like I just I got kind of lazy, and then in terms of like putting out content and stuff like that. So I want to get back to that. I'll figure it out. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna replace it with like, probably either A Bride Story or Yona of the Dawn, or both. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I think that's what I'm gonna do. And most likely it will be Yona of the Dawn because like those volumes are just cheaper, and I can kind of I can keep up with that. And the chapters come out. Bride Story, I believe, I don't know if it's ongoing. Let me see if I don't know if it's ongoing. Yeah, it's still ongoing. So for me, it's sort of like it's a little bit more expensive. That doesn't mean I'm not going to react to it at all, but I'm going to get back to A Bride Story. And Yona of the Dawn is probably the one that I'm going to get back to because like I like both, but I started with Yona. I started Yona before I started A Bride Story, and I really want to get back to Yona. And people really like Yona. I think there are enough people that love Yona, you know, and enough people that don't to sort of say like, you know, hey, I want to put the series, you know, I want to bring the series to the attention of people. I want to react to it like all the time. And I think it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. So that's what I'm gonna do with that. But I don't care about One Piece. All right. I'm probably gonna come up with another video at some point, probably some point this week. I don't know. Just kind of talking about like my schedule, like just like my streaming schedule and what that's going to look like. Because you know I got to figure out like my own schedule, like for you know school year and everything like that. All right, but like once I got that down pat and everything, I'll come back. I'll let you know what that's gonna look like in terms of like the chapters and all that stuff. Okay. And yeah. All right. So no One Piece streams for the foreseeable future. I don't know when I'm gonna start that up again. I said maybe I'll try to like, you know, let 20 chapters pile up and then I'll get back to it. But honestly, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm probably, you know, yeah, like I think 20 makes sense because like, you know, usually there's like a chapter every week, and you know, that's about like that's you know, that's a few months. All right, that's like a few months. That's like a good like, you know, yeah, I don't know, 5 months, something like that. So, you know, we'll let it pile up, see what happens. Which is fine, you know, because like again, I think people are looking out for other manga, honestly. I think a lot of people are like way more invested. This is stuff that I've heard from people that I know are diehard fans of One Piece. They talking about right now it's looking a little weak. All right, so all right, these are like big YouTubers, right? That are talking to me, talking about, you know, my hero is looking real clean right now, and One Piece is not. Okay, that's not to say they dislike One Piece or that they don't want to read One Piece. They're just saying like, you know, they have a better time more recently, right? With My Hero than they do with like One Piece or something like that, or another manga that they're reading. So it is what it is. All right, let me get out of here. You know, again, it's just boring. I should have taken off the second like I saw that first chapter one. I like immediately I was just like I don't care. You know, so I'm gonna take off. All right, let me get out of here. I do have to get out of here. I do gotta get to sleep. That's what to do. Gotta wake up early tomorrow morning. I have a lot of things that I gotta take care of. And yeah. All right. So let me do that. All right. I'm the Black Manga Critic, y'all. I just gotta get off that One Piece. All right. I'm the Black Manga Critic. Thank y'all for watching. Again, no One Piece streams for the foreseeable future. Okay. You know, whenever I come back to it, you'll know. All right. Before I come back to it, and I'm out, y'all.